Hello everyone, this is StrawberryShorty back with Otogirisou, and I believe we have found a part that can lead to 3 different endings, but of course I'm pretty sure we have to just get one at a time, and I think the other 2 are the ones we already got, but you can play the piano, Nami?
I can't play it well enough to answer that question with a yes, but I do like the sound of the piano.
Well, what song is that?
I don't know. I don't know the title or even who composed it.
Someone taught you how to play it?
No, I just remember hearing it a long time ago. Not sure when, though. I find it odd myself.
Life's like that sometimes, yeah? Suddenly, Nami's hand stopped moving. What's wrong? Is it over already? Nami was looking past me over my shoulder.
Hey, that's...
When I looked behind me, I saw a painting of a lady hung up on the wall. It was a woman in her 30s wearing traditional Japanese clothes, standing with a mountain range behind her. Her long hair had been brushed over her left shoulder. She held wildflowers in both hands, which she had clutched against her chest. A picture?
Obviously, but do you notice anything special about it?
Nami smiled, as if she was challenging me. I started to panic. Was it painted by a famous artist? I didn't know anything about paintings, though. A, looks like an early Picasso, doesn't it? I made it up on the spot to try and sound intelligent. B, she's pretty, isn't she? I tried to change the subject. C, hey, those are Hyperiosyms she's holding. I was about to say that they weren't Hyperiosyms, but apparently they are. I believe all of these do lead to the same thing, so... And I think this causes us to skip right past finding the maternity notebooks, so... I'll say the Picasso one.
Oh, does it? I don't know much about paintings myself.
Looks like I managed to fool her.
But that's not what I was talking about. Look at that lady there. Doesn't she kind of look like me?
Huh? That was sudden. I took another look at the woman in the painting. At first, I didn't know what Nami meant. The lady's makeup was very old-fashioned, and the painting seemed old, so I couldn't really see a resemblance to Nami, who was a typical modern-day girl. But as I looked at it more, I saw similarity in the eyes, and that's when it hit me. Nami bent her head the same way whenever she smiled, and had a tendency of slightly lifting her chin up. It made her look less symmetrical. When she got careless, the expression even made her look ever so homely. That's an interesting way to put it. It made me feel uneasy, like handling newborn babies who can't support their own neck yet. What? I did love it when Nami smiled, but every time she did, I felt a sense of loss and fear. Then I think you maybe don't love it when she smiles. The smile of the lady in the painting made me feel that exact same sense of unease. More than her physical features, it was her expression that surprised me. I don't see it. She doesn't look like you at all. I lied, because I found it creepy how similar they were.
Oh?
Nami smiled lightly and tilted her head. It was like the painting had come to life! I sent a chill down my spine.
But you know,
Nami, you're not as pretty as her. Wow. I turned away so I didn't have to meet Nami's gaze. Well, we deserve whatever we get in this path.
So you're saying I'm ugly?
Nami slammed on the piano keys and stood up. I didn't say you were ugly.
You said it just now.
No, I didn't.
Yes, you did.
I mean, he didn't, but what he said was still pretty bad. Nami pouted angrily. Now her face looked nothing like the picture. No, it's just... I started to lighten my expression. Okay, I said it.
What, are you just teasing me? Then I'm not playing the piano for you ever again.
Nami turned her back to me. The wind blew in at that moment. Uh-oh. A curtain blew up to lit the candle of the piano and caught on fire, which quickly spread across the entire curtain.
Ah!
The burning curtain fell over Nami's face. Nami! I pulled the curtain off in a hurry. The metal part that attached to the rail ripped right off. I hurled it to the floor and stomped on it with my feet in a panic. The fire was strong, but fortunately the thin curtain didn't provide it much fuel. Since it had nothing else to travel to, I managed to extinguish the fire. Phew, the whole house almost went down in flames. Are you okay, Nami? She didn't respond. She stood there facing the wall, her back turned to me. What's wrong? A burn? When I asked this question, Nami turned to me and slowly nodded. Where? Where's the burn?
The face.
Huh? I approached her, confused, until she pointed at the lady in the painting. When the curtain was flapping around, the heat must have melted the oil on the painting, making the lady appear to have been burned on her right side of her face. Oh, is that all? Man, you surprised me. I thought you meant your own face. I laughed, relieved, until Nami said something that made no sense. Mom? Sis? What do you mean, sis? I didn't know what she was talking about. Nami's an only child. I stood there dumbfounded. And then, Nami suddenly started trembling and ran for the exit. Where are you going? Flustered, I grabbed Nami by the arm.
Let me go. I have to find that mummy or else.
That mummy? The one in the wheelchair?
Yeah, so let me go.
Nami struggled so hard, I thought she might rip my arm off. Calm down, Nami. What's going on?
Let me go.
I'm not letting you go until you calm down. I grabbed Nami by both shoulders and looked her straight in the eyes. What's this all about? Explain it to me.
I used to live in this house. I lived here a long time ago.
That's news to me. A long time ago. How long ago was it?
I don't know. I just know it was when I was really little. I lived here together with my mom and dad and my older sister.
Your older sister? But you're an only child, right?
No, I had an older sister,
she whispered. Why did you hide it from me? I never heard you talk about her before.
I wasn't hiding it from you, Shorty. I'd never do that. I only just knew it now. I remembered for the first time. I'm as shocked as you are that I had a different mom. But now I know. I remember her now.
Nami's lips quivered.
Sorry, I shouldn't have said that
you hid it from me. I should watch what I say. He's much calmer in this one than in the other ones where she says these things. I apologize, but I still couldn't believe what she was saying. We stumbled into this mansion by accident, and she just happens to have lived here a long time ago? But Nami, it's not that I don't believe you, but isn't it possible you're just mistaken? I mean, all sorts of crazy things have been happening to us since we got here. You're tired, you're not thinking straight.
No, this can't be some kind of trick.
Nami shook her head.
I remember now, though it's faint. It's getting clearer. But if it's true, Oh, Shorty.
Nami looked at me as though she wanted me to save her. What should I do?
What should I do? The mummy has to be either my mom or my sister. What am I supposed to do?
I didn't know what to say to her. Nami looked down at the ground, trembling.
I might have done something I can never undo.
Something you can never undo? What would that be?
I can't remember what it is yet, but it's something. I did something to my sister, but I can't remember what. That's why I have to find that mummy.
Nami stumbled to the hallway. I said, A, okay, Nami, I'll help you. We'll find that mummy together. B, wait, Nami, let's go to the sofa and sit down. You still have enough time for that, right? I think this is another leads to the same choice, but I'm going to... Okay, so... Wait, Nami, let's go to the sofa and sit down. You still have enough time for that, right? I propped up Nami by the shoulder and sat her down on the sofa in the entrance hall. I believe this leads to the three-way split. You're tired. You've been through a lot. Get a little sleep here, all right?
I'm scared, Shorty. I don't feel like myself anymore. What's happening to me? What can I ever say to my sister? What's going to happen to me?
You don't have a sister. You're going to be fine. Just get some rest. I'll be right here beside you, so get some sleep.
But...
Nami grabbed hold of my arm tightly. It'll be okay. I'm here with you. I covered Nami's eyes with my hands. Close your eyes. Breathe nice and slow. In any case, I managed to calm Nami down. I tried to hypnotize her by speaking slowly in a low and soft voice. You're okay. You don't have anything to worry about. You're relaxed. Nami's breathing gradually calmed down, and she finally leaned her head against my shoulder. Wasn't she lying down? Did you fall asleep? She didn't respond. I could hear her breathing in her sleep. It was quiet in the entrance hall now. You're going to be fine. You were just talking nonsense because you were worn out, that's all. A lot of strange things had happened, but I was sure it'd all be over tomorrow morning. I ran my fingers over Nami's hair and put my cheek against her head. Good night, Nami. When I closed my eyes, I felt a quiet world spread far and wide. All I could hear was Nami breathing in her sleep. Eventually, I fell deep asleep too. We shouldn't be sleeping out in the open like this. Not that I think any room is safe, but this just seems dangerous. Turn this up a bit. When I woke up, Nami was gone. Shocking. Nami. I stood up from the sofa. I thought I saw something moving on the second floor. A, Nami, I called out to her. B, I went up to the second floor. C, there might be some sort of note. I looked on the table. So I'm pretty sure the first two options lead to the different variations of what is called the Burns ending, which I think might be the two endings we got before, and then the third one is the Nami's delusion ending, which I think is a new one. But I do kind of want to check out the other two first to see if they are in fact the endings we got, so I'm going to pause here. That was the plan. Apparently I got the choices mixed up. So this is just another leads to the same path choice, so... Pick C, there might be some sort of note. I looked on the table. There might be some sort of note. I looked on the table. There was a white sheet of paper on it, and a simple map had been drawn. The path headed from the entrance down to the left hallway, and the destination was marked with an X. There weren't any letters written on it, so I couldn't determine whether or not Nami wrote it. But before I had fallen asleep, it wasn't here. There aren't any other clues here. With my flashlight in hand, I headed down the left hallway, as the map had instructed. When I opened the door that was on the map, behind it was an oddly empty room with a concrete floor. I turned my flashlight on. It appeared to be a garage. What could this be here for? When I swung the light around, I realized that somebody was sitting in the corner. Who's there? Is that you, Nami? There was a mummy sitting in the wheelchair. Unless I got mixed up, I better go check just to be sure. Well, seems like it's still the right one, but I swear when I was fast-forwarding, I completely missed that car. Who's there? Is that you, Nami? There was a mummy sitting in the wheelchair. Huh? I lost my composure for a second, but I tried to be brave and reassured myself. It's okay. It's just a body. It's not going to move. I came closer to the mummy, trying to find out who it really was. Then suddenly, the mummy stood up. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Surprised, I stepped back. But I tripped on something and I fell on my butt. The mummy was slowly coming toward me. My eyes were fixed on the mummy as my hands fumbled around on the floor. The mummy and I were looking right at each other. Huh? At that moment, I felt something in my hand. It was a wrench. I grabbed it and stood up. I had no choice but to fight. Right as I thought that, the mummy suddenly stopped moving. The very next instant, the mummy started moving ridiculously fast, turning around and running into the darkness. What was up with those eyes? The mummy that I'd seen when I came in didn't have any eyes, just a couple of dried-up holes. But this mummy had eyes, and I felt like I'd seen those eyes before. Who could it be? I can't remember. Judging by how quickly it moved and the fact that it ran away after I grabbed the wrench, the only thing that seemed possible was that it was a person posing as a mummy. But who would do that? I tilted my head to the side as I looked at the wrench. A piece of tape had been wrapped around the wrench. Yeah, because I'm pretty sure when I picked the first option to try and get one of the burn endings, I was in a hallway. Unless they just lead to each other in different ways. We'll see. Shorty was written on it. I left this in my toolbox in the car. Why is it here in a place like this? I remember the car accident. Was this all part of some sort of setup for a crime? Did somebody mess with my car from the very start to entrap us? If that's the case, then I started to worry about Nami. She might have been the one who drew this map. I looked all over for Nami, all the way back to the entrance hall, but I couldn't find her. The second floor, maybe? I stepped on the staircase. Oh, I remember now. The mummy's eyes looked exactly like Nami's. The mummy and Nami, they were so different that I didn't realize until now, but there was no mistake. It had the same eyes as Nami. Could it be that Nami was dressed up as a mummy? It's unthinkable. Nami wouldn't have any reason to do such a thing, but if it were true, it would explain how the wrench came to be here. Nah, it's too much of a stretch. Anyway, I just have to find Nami for now. I brushed aside my thoughts and ran up to the staircase. At that moment, a door opened nearby. Oh, Nami. Nami had a stoic look on her face. You had me worried there. I ran over to her, but Nami took one look at me, stepped back into the room she was in, and shut the door. Hey! I dashed over and opened the door. Nami had buried her face into the bed on the right-hand corner of the room. What happened, Nami? Nami didn't look up. She just pointed at the desk. It looked like she had just started crying. There was a single photograph on the desk. It was an old photograph with a sepia color tone. In the photo were two girls, probably around 3 years old, standing next to each other, wearing the same white blouse. I think we've seen this part before with the photograph. Identical twins. She looks like me. They have the name tags. Not sure if it was true. Why would Nami's sister mess with the car? Does she have a grudge? And this is where it should lead to a different thing. I started walking that way, but when I looked down, I could see wet footprints that led to a different room. I also heard the piano coming from below. Where could Nami be? Hey, I ran to the hallway over the door that had shut. I ran to the piano hall. I followed the wet footprints. So we want to follow the wet footprints, and I'm pretty sure A is how we got the burns ending the first time, so... See, I followed the wet footprints. The footprints continued to the room where I first saw the mummy. I could hear a voice inside. I held my breath as I peered through the keyhole. There were two Namis! One had fallen on the floor. The other was standing in front of her, wearing a wet white dress, but their faces were identical. It was a really amazing keyhole that we can see that well. The one on the floor was wearing the clothes that Nami had been wearing. Does that mean that the girl in the white dress is Naomi? The girl who looked like Nami was pointing a knife at Nami and screaming. We're going to me and my brother's place. Brother? Was a brother too? Well, I didn't have time to think about it. Naomi started coming closer to Nami with the knife. Stop! I stumbled into the room that leapt and leapt for the hand that held the knife. "Don't interfere. Are you Naomi? Why would you do this to your own sister?" "That's none of your business." Naomi put up a struggle, but then I got the knife away from her. When I got the knife away from her, she ran out the open door into the hallway, and then she was gone. "Nami, are you okay?"
"Shorty."
Nami's voice was trembling. "Is that Naomi, your sister? Why was she about to stab you with a knife? And what's this about a brother? You had a brother too?" Despite the excitement of what had just happened, Nami could only look back at me with sadness in her eyes. "Were you hurt?"
"Were you hurt?"
"I'm fine." "Oh, were you hurt?"
"I'm fine, thank you, Shorty. I don't know what would have happened to me if you hadn't come."
"Right. But anyway, was that Naomi?"
"That's what she told me. She said she's my sister. I was shocked."
"What about your brother?"
"I don't know about him. I just don't know."
Nami stumbled for the right words. "It's okay. You don't have to try to remember." A book had been dropped on the floor. I picked it up and saw that it was a diary. In it, I saw that it detailed the struggles and loneliness that Naomi experienced taking care of her brother after her mother had passed away. "I'm afraid to go to sleep, wondering to myself, will Naoki be dead when I wake up? The very thought tears me apart. I really will end up all alone here, but with all of the pain Naoki's in, all of the screaming. If there's no cure for this, I'd rather just die. There's no point keeping me alive. Kill me, Naomi. Please make the pain stop. Kill me. Oh, Naoki, if only I'd been the one who got sick instead of you. Yet even with this burn that I suffered, I'm forced to live. Why did you get sick, Naoki? And why do I have to be the one to live on?" Nami started talking, her voice muddled by her tears.
"Naomi, before you got here, Shorty, she kept reading that to me. She said that despite all of the hardship she faced, even the death of our brother couldn't stop her from wanting to see me. But I don't know anything about that. She said the three of us played together as kids, but I have no memories of him. Still, I do remember the fire that burned her, because I was the one who caused it."
"You can't blame yourself for that, especially not for something that happened when you were a kid."
But...
I held Nami tightly as I turned the last page. "Let me sink to the bottom of my ocean. Let me find rest there in my ocean." It was Naoki's last will, and I did just as he said. Now I'm all alone. The diary ended there. What did he mean, let me sink to the bottom of my ocean? That's when it hit me. Nami, your brother might not be dead. Huh? And Mummy's eyes, they look just like yours.
Mummy's eyes look like mine?
At first, I thought it was Naomi, but maybe the mummy is your brother, only dressed like a mummy. And also a woman.
But the diary pretty much said that he's dead.
When I took the knife from Naomi, I got a look at her eyes. I could tell that she wasn't right in the head. She might think he's dead, but that doesn't mean he really is. Isn't there a room we still haven't entered yet, Nami?
Yeah, the door that was sealed off.
If we go there, we might be able to figure out what happened. I headed to the exit.
Wait, I'm going too.
You sure you'll be okay? Maybe you could lock the door and just wait in here?
No, I'll go. This is my problem to solve. It's my family, after all.
It sounded like Nami had made up her mind. She wasn't crying anymore. Okay, we'll go together. The door was closed, but was it still locked? I mean, it was locked with, spikes. I grabbed the doorknob. Ugh! I suddenly felt something heavy hit the back of my head. Then, I fell unconscious. There's the mummy. I slowly opened my eyes and saw the red carpet of the hallway. My head still hurt. I tried to move my right hand to my head. That's when I realized that I was unable to move. I'd been tied to a wheelchair. Oh, that's us. Oh, darn. I wiggled my body, trying to loosen the rope. So you're awake. Who is it? I heard a voice from behind me. Is that you, Nami? Untie me. I tried to twist my head to look behind me, but I couldn't turn it far enough to see her face. Let's get going, shall we? Probably Naomi. The lady behind me started pushing the wheelchair. Nami? You're not Nami, are you? Her voice sounded exactly the same, though. Was this Naomi? I was lonely. I can't tell you how lonely I was. You wouldn't understand. You forgot all about us. This wasn't Nami. Where could Nami have gone? I really did feel sorry for Naoki. He was in pain, unbearable pain. He weathered it all, though, until he was nothing but skin and bones. I dreamed that we could have lived together, the three of us. But you never came. What is she talking about? And where was she taking me? Even after Naoki passed away, you didn't come. I hated you for that. It was all because of the fire that you started. It seemed like she was talking to me as if I was Nami. I managed to get one of my hands free and pulled my lighter out of my pocket. The wheelchair rolled slowly down the second-floor hallway.
Dad died in the fire you started. Mom was so affected by the shock of it that she grew sick, and my forehead.
Naomi was at a loss for words for a second.
I was just glad that Naoki was unharmed. Back then, I had no idea that you were the one who started the fire.
I lit the lighter to burn through the rope.
I read Mom's diary after she died. That's when I found out what you had done. That was about the same time that Naoki started getting sick.
Her voice started to tremble, and the wheelchair came to a stop. We were right in front of the staircase. Suddenly, she started screaming.
You need to pay for what you've done. You killed Dad. You paralyzed Mom. You made Naoki sick, and now he's dead. Now all that's left is me and this burn. This burn that has never gone away after all these years. Naoki wanted to meet you again before he died, so now it's time for you to set things right. It's time for you to meet Naoki face to face. Naoki can tell you himself just how much he suffered. Together, you and I will dive into the depths of his ocean.
The rope finally broke, but only my torso had been freed. I think I would have tried to free my other hand. My legs were still tied. I was able to turn around and look behind me. Where did you take Nami? The girl looked exactly like Nami, but she was staring up at the ceiling with a terrifying expression on her face. I don't know what sort of painful stuff you went through, but you're talking about something that happened when you were kids. Nami's done nothing wrong now. Who are you? It doesn't matter who I am. Where did you take Nami? It's none of your business. She thrust the wheelchair forward. Whoa! I crashed down the stairs, along with the wheelchair. My entire body was hit hard. When I looked up, I could see her. I have to hurry. I have to hurry. I have to hurry and find Nami. I untied my legs, and even though it was painful, I forced myself to stand up. As I stood up, a key fell to the ground. Don't tell me this is... I headed off to the door where I'd been knocked unconscious when I tried to go through it. Naomi thought I was Nami in the wheelchair. That would mean that the real Nami is still alive. Not necessarily. Nami, wait for me. I'm coming to save you. I stood in front of that unopened door. The spikes that had been driven into it had already been removed. I set the key in the lock, twisted it, and it unlocked. I pulled open the door. The room was a dreadful sight to behold. Was this where the fire Naomi was talking about had happened? Everything in the room had been burnt to a crisp. I mean, if a fire killed the father and paralyzed the mother, wouldn't it have, consumed more than just a room? The walls were all solid black, and there was a gaping hole in the ceiling. The carpeting had been completely burned to ash. The wind was blowing through the broken glass windows. There was no sign of Nami. Naomi must have moved her, but in the center of the room was the mummy I'd seen before, sitting in the wheelchair. Was this Nami's mom? Placed on her knees was the open diary she'd been reading right before going unconscious. Something had been written on the last page. Mom, I'm going to take Nami to be with Naoki now. Be with Naoki? Where? At that moment, I remembered Naoki's final request, let me sink to the bottom of my ocean. The aquarium! And at that moment, there was a huge sound. The room shook violently. What? What's happening? In a panic, I stepped back into the hall. I heard the sound of water from downstairs. I ran over and saw the figure of a person running down the stairs and out of sight. Then I heard another explosion. The other side of the hall was well lit. It looked as though flames were coming up from the underground boiler room. But there was no time to deal with that now. I ran straight to the aquarium, rubbed the glass, and looked inside. There, in the murky water, I saw Nami's face. Nami! I struck the aquarium with both of my fists, but it didn't even budge. Where's the wrench? That's when I grabbed the axe that was hanging on the wall. I broke the aquarium's glass, and with a huge rush of water, out came Nami in a pile of white bones. I put my ear to Nami's mouth. She wasn't breathing. I placed my hand on her chest. No movement. Nami, this can't be happening. I pushed her chest hard, and a spurt of black water emerged from her mouth. However, she didn't spit out the water the way a living person might. It was like the water had been pushed out of her by a pump. Nami! I kept pushing her chest like crazy. Less water started coming out, and then nothing came out at all. Do CPR! Nami, I'll kiss you, so open your eyes. I held her head and started giving her mouth to mouth. I don't think he's doing any of this correctly. Her lips were cold. I breathed as hard as I could to send air into Nami's lungs, but her body remained just as cold. Nothing had changed. Nami. Dead? No. It can't be. Please, open your eyes. I propped up Nami and shook her shoulders as hard as I could. Her body gave no resistance. She felt like a doll. Ha ha. I know what you're up to. I laughed at Nami. You're just closing your eyes, yeah? You're always trying to get to me, and I always fall for it. You're waiting for me to start crying so you can open your eyes and shout boo. Well, it's not going to work this time. I'm going to let go of you now. I took my hands away from her shoulders. Nami's torso sunk to the ground like a mannequin. Oh, Nami, don't be like that. You always want to fool me, don't you? Well, you fooled me good. Look, you've even got me crying now. You did it. You won. You can start laughing now. Nami didn't even budge. I could barely see the bones scattered around her because of my tears. I don't know what happened with your brother, but why did you have to die, Nami? Damn it. I stood up and kicked away one of the bones. It bounced off the floor and rolled around. It was a skull. This skull. It had a long jaw and a line of sharp teeth. The skull isn't human. It must have been a dog or something. Don't tell me. Maybe she didn't have a brother after all? Could this have been another one of Naomi's delusions? I looked at Nami's cold face. Wow. Why did Nami have to die just because of her sister's sick fantasies? Darn, I'm gonna kill that bitch. I stood up and ran into the hallway. But at some point, the fire had spread, and I couldn't get one step past the bathroom. I opened the door to the dining room. Nobody was there. I opened the door to the study. Nobody was there. I opened the door to the piano hall. Nobody was there. I ran up the stairs, but the hands of the flames had reached this far already, and I couldn't manage to continue down the hallway. I have to carry Nami out of here. I looked down from the second floor. I couldn't believe my eyes. Nami was gone. Did Nami come back to life? For a brief moment, I was overjoyed. Then I considered another possibility. Could she have stolen Nami's corpse? No, there's no way. Nami must have come back to life, saw the fire, and ran. I kept telling myself that as I headed downstairs. The door at the entrance wouldn't open. Oh, darn. I'll have to go out through the back at this rate. Yet the entrance hall was already completely covered in flames. There was nowhere to run. Smoke and hot wind started to envelop me. Was I going to burn to death in this house? No. Nami's alive, and there's no way I'm going to die here either. Suddenly, a gust of cold wind caressed the flames. I turned to face the wind blowing toward me. The fireplace had popped open. That's where the wind was coming from. The walls were starting to crumble. I jumped into the chimney. I squatted down inside and managed to fit through. It was pitch black inside and I couldn't see anything, but I could feel a narrow path stretching out in front of me. My hands searched the walls as I moved further down the path. Could Nami have gone through here too? Maybe when she was a kid she played in here, like it was a secret tunnel? That's what I thought. I imagined Nami squatting and moving down the same path just ahead of me. Then I called out in the darkness, Nami. There was no reply. No, she's got to be there. She's got to be just ahead. The path had been leading down at a gradual slant until it started rising, and then suddenly I could see yellow flowers before my very eyes. This was the other side of the greenhouse. Why here, though? I looked over at the mansion and saw that the fire had already taken the second floor. Flames danced out of the broken windows. Oh, I saw someone enter the mansion from the back door. Was that Nami? I rushed over to see, but I tripped over something and fell. What I had tripped over was Nami. She was right there on the ground, but even though my foot had rammed into her, she hadn't budged. This has to be Nami. Hey, hold on. I put my ear to her chest. No movement. Oh, wait. Something moved just now. I listened harder, but I couldn't hear anything. Oh, that can't be right. Something moved now. I heard it. I started pushing Nami's chest with both hands again. Nami, hurry up and open your eyes. Wake up already. I spoke to Nami ever so gently. Nami, it's time to go back. You need to get up. She didn't respond. What are you doing, Nami? If you don't hurry up, I'm leaving you behind. I brought my hands down on her chest forcefully. You made it all the way back here, didn't you? Why don't you go back to the way you were before? Wake up. But there was no response, so I thrust my hands down again on her chest and kept going. Nami! Nami! But it made no difference. Before I knew it, I wasn't even pushing down on her chest anymore, just lightly tapping her without any strength at all. Nami. How? Why? I dropped my face against Nami's chest in despair. Huh? Shocked, I pushed my ear down. Nami? I'm certain I could hear her heart beating. Nami! I started pushing against her chest again. With each push, I could see her breathe a little stronger, and the color started to return to her face. I screamed, Nami! She struggled to breathe and her eyelids moved. Shorty? Nami. I hugged her. I'm so glad, Nami. What happened to me? You're okay. You're going to be just fine. I was overcome with tears. Oh, I remember. Naomi, my sister. Nami looked up at the burning mansion. It's on fire. Don't tell me. Nami had a dark look on her face. There was nothing I could do for her. I was running around trying to kill her. I was totally focused on saving you.
What about my brother, Naoki?
What about him?
There was no brother. What about him?
There was no brother, Nami. That was just one of Naomi's delusions. You never had a brother.
One of her delusions?
She was lonely, so she made him up. The bones Naomi said were her brothers turned out to be the bones of a dog.
You can't be serious.
At that moment, I could hear crazed screaming coming from inside the mansion. Naoki! Naoki!
My sister!
Don't! We'd never make it to her in time. I stopped Nami, who had started to run toward the mansion.
Naoki!
At that instant, the mansion started to collapse, and the sound of it falling overpowered her scream. The mansion was done for. As I watched, the roof fell in, and the stone walls crumbled away. It was as if Naomi's grudge had been the only thing that had kept the old place standing for as long as it did. And now, that grudge was buried under the rubble of the mansion, along with Naomi herself.
My sister.
Nami fell to her knees. Tears streamed from her eyes. To the side of Nami's face, lit up by the red of the fire of the burning rubble, I saw a single Hyperion swaying to and fro. That took forever. Okay, so we've cleared another ending. Will we get the pink bookmark? Oh my gosh, this is fast forwarding so slow. Because otherwise we might have to try and get the other Burns ending, because I really think the Burns is the one where you save her and she shows you her forehead. And we definitely got one of those where we were trapped in the coffin, but did the other version we got count as the piano? I don't remember the piano being that relevant in that one, though. Let's pause. Okay, we got a pink bookmark yet? Yes! Pink bookmark achieved! Let's go for it. It is raining so hard, I wonder if you can hear it. This should be straightforward, but we'll see. As I looked at her from the side, I saw that Nami's profile was as beautiful as ever. Not sure if it was because she was tired, the good kind of tired from playing at the river, but she had a slightly worried and mature look on her face.
What, Shorty? I see you sneaking a peek at me over there.
Well, yeah. I was caught off guard. A, heh, you're just so eye-catching that I couldn't help myself. B, your cheeks are blushed, Nami, you look drunk, that's why I looked over. C, well, forget peeking then, I'll just have myself a nice long stare. D, I was thinking of giving you a kiss. Well, we're gonna pick D, because that's a new option. I was thinking of giving you a kiss.
Go right ahead if you can.
I swallowed unconsciously. Nami's hair was fluttering in the wind, and a sweet scent was in the air. Looking at Nami from the side, it hit me how her skin was so white that you'd think she was from some snowy region of the country. She took my breath away. I had settled on my goal for today. By tonight, I was going to make her mine.
Oh, that's strange.
Beautiful tank of gas. I was a terrible liar. The story was flimsy. She could tell that my hands were shaking.
No good then?
Nami took a peek over. I could hear her breathing. Yeah, there's something funny going on with the engine. I guess we'll have to call somebody about it. Nami had particularly good intuition, so I wasn't sure she'd actually buy any of this.
There's nobody else around. It's just the two of us out here, huh?
Was it just my imagination, or did her voice sound a little sultry? Maybe Nami feels the same way that I do now? If that's the case, then... Nami. My throat was dry and it was hard to speak. I think I hear a heart beating. My heart was hard to speak. My plan was to take Nami into that mansion. I'd stumbled into the abandoned place last summer while I was out on my own, back when I was working part-time at a golf course. It had electricity, running water, beds, and a shower room that worked. There were signs that, from time to time, people had broken in and were using the place without permission. I figured we could accidentally stumble upon that mansion and wind up staying the night. Well, just hope some crazy people haven't broken in, you know? And attack us. I felt confident about my plan, and I was sure Nami would enjoy it. Nami, Nami laughed.
Don't tell me you're going to have to take me to some kind of creepy mansion because the engine stalled.
A hiccup escaped from me.
I was only kidding. Of course.
I figured it was best to just laugh it off for now.
But we've got to do something, right?
Yeah. I kept pretending that the engine had stalled. Then suddenly, the engine sprung to life and the car started moving. Oh, darn. What kind of car is this that can be driven with a stalled engine, huh? But then something even stranger happened. Whoa.
Huh? What is it?
I looked over at Nami, stunned. There was a naked lady walking through the forest just beyond Nami. She was breathtakingly beautiful. Not only that, the lady was Nami. Had I become so overcome by lust that I was imagining her naked?
Hey, what was that all about?
Nothing really. I was just thinking about how beautiful the sunset is. I just said the first thing off the top of my head to avoid the topic.
Yeah, you're right. It's beautiful.
Nami had taken the bait and started staring out at the sunset.
Wow, there are so many flowers. Hey, look at them.
There were a bunch of yellow wildflowers growing. My gosh. We've been getting these warnings constantly, and I don't think there's actually any kind of flood in this area. There were a bunch of yellow wildflowers growing.
Oh, yeah, those flowers there? They're hypericums, aren't they? Otogirisou?
Oh, you knew the name of the flower, huh?
You're going to tell me the legend now, aren't you?
Sure, I'll tell it to you. Just pretend you haven't heard it before.
All right, fine. Go right ahead.
And then I thought, A, as the narrator of Otogirisou, I felt it was time to mix in some concentrated lovin' and initiate my special plan. B, I had to tell the story. I didn't have a choice. C, I figured I'd keep it brief and exaggerate parts of it. Well, as the narrator of Otogirisou, I felt it was time to mix in some concentrated lovin'. I skipped it. And initiate my special plan. Yeah, the legend's an interesting one. I intended to make the legend sound awesome, to make it easier for me to win over Nami's heart. 1,000 years ago or so, back in the Heian period, there was a young man and a beautiful young lady. The young man loved her, and she loved him too, though she kept those feelings a secret.
You just made that story up right now, didn't you?
Just quiet down and listen. I slipped my arm around Nami's shoulder.
What happened to the part where you explained that Oto in Otogirisou refers to the younger brother? You haven't even mentioned the brothers.
Back in the Heian period, the word Ototo meant sibling, not just a younger brother like it does today. It also used to refer to a girl that a guy was in love with, so the story's not necessarily about two guys.
I don't know if that's true.
Apparently, she doesn't have much faith in my intellectual abilities. Well, if you just wait, I'll get it all cleared up eventually. I squeezed her with the arm I'd wrapped around her shoulder. The young man had a younger brother. See, what did I tell you?
You were right.
But this brother of his was as evil as they come. He was trying to steal the older brother's girl, and the older brother was totally unaware.
Oh my.
It started raining right on cue for the story. These brothers made medicines, and they sold a medicine that had been passed down in their family for generations, but the younger brother sold the recipe to a business rival and used the money to buy gifts for the brother's girlfriend.
He sounds like a pretty lousy guy.
It sounded to me like Nami was getting wrapped up in the story now. She didn't even seem to be bothered by the fact that I'd put my arm around her shoulder. When the older brother found out what happened, he chased the younger brother off. But that night, the older brother noticed moaning coming from the girl's house. He peeked in, and by light of the moon, he saw his brother and the girl he loved. They were there on a futon, their bodies locked together. I saw Nami's white neck gulp. Damn you, the older brother flew into a rage, drew his katana, and started slashing. A cloud passed over the moon, making the night turn black. One of the people was cut down, and the other escaped.
Well, which one got killed?
It was too dark to tell. Even he himself wasn't sure which person he had killed. So he decided to try feeling the body with his hands.
Okay.
He wondered if it was a man's body or a woman's. The skin of the corpse was soft, so it seemed at first to be the girl. Disgusted with himself, the young man reached for the corpse's chest.
And?
It was a woman. He'd killed the very woman that he loved.
Oh my.
Nami took a deep breath.
Shorty.
This was the chance I've been waiting for. Without delay, I said, breathing in deeply. The frogs jump in the water. Hear them make a splash. What? B, I didn't eat any gyoza today because I didn't want my breath to smell like garlic, and so I decided to roll out my super love action. C, my attitude changed and I suddenly got very serious. We'll pick B because it sounds like love-related. But I'm not entirely sure. I didn't eat any gyoza today because I didn't want my breath to smell like garlic. Nami, I remembered all the foreign films I had seen and tried to conduct myself the same way I had seen the leading actors do.
Shorty.
But it seemed like Nami was about to complain to me about something, so I figured it would be better to wait and hear what she was going to say.
Hey,
Yeah? What? Nami said.
I'm gonna be honest with you here.
Okay.
We're lost, aren't we?
Huh? It's not at all what I was hoping for her to be honest with me about. But now that she mentioned it, the area we were driving through did seem kind of creepy. That's when I said, hey, shut up! We must press on! I was fully invested in my plan to get some lovin'. B, who do you think you are, huh? I'm taking you into the police. I started acting pushy. C, who boy, what do you say we head back then? I used the Kansai dialect. I'm gonna pick A. I don't know if we can actually mess up. Like, I imagine that there's gotta be a way to just end up on the standard route, but... Whoa.
We're gonna crash.
Nani clung to me. Even though we knew that all of this was going to happen, our lives were still in danger. So we knew this was going to happen? We've become self-aware. We barely managed to dodge it. Nami was still clinging to me, and her touch felt hot as fire. Yes, fire. The fire of romance, the flames of passion. No, I wouldn't dare. Still, these words have excited me ever since I was a kid. We sure were in trouble there.
Yeah.
Nami seemed pretty worked up, too. According to one book on psychology I'd read, a man and a woman who've been through a terrifying experience together share a more intimate connection. Could that be true of what had happened to us just now?
Hey,
Nami said to me sweetly.
could you stop the car?
Yeah, I'll do that. Without any hesitation, I stepped on the brakes, but my foot just pushed through the air. This is a different version of it. Oh, the brakes are gone. The scenery was zipping past us like an arrow.
Stop the car!
I would if I could. The speedometer pointed it up to 120 kilometers an hour. That's 75 miles an hour. On a mountain road like this, that speed was suicidal. It wasn't supposed to turn out this way.
Shorty!
Nami's whole body clung to me. The fear in her eyes was totally sexy. I felt like we were about to die. At that moment, a thought occurred to me. A, wow, this rush... Was this rush what that felt like? B, I hope nobody would jump in front of us because this car is not going to take any sudden stops. C, there were, at the very least, 5,009 steaks we still hadn't eaten yet. But we're going to say A because that's, again, more romancy. I mean, not exactly romance, but I felt light, like I was floating in the air where two rays of light intersected. Was this what dying felt like? While terrified that I would die, for just a brief moment, I saw the image of a couple I'd never seen before making love. The car came to a stop, as if it had just been enveloped by something soft. Nami's cheeks were red. She was blushing. Had Nami and I both seen the same thing right before we were about to die?
Shorty.
Nami. We held hands. What was going to happen to us now? The tree is literally stopping it from happening. Suddenly, a bolt of lightning struck, right before our eyes. Oh, right. That was how it went. The big cedar tree got split in half.
Amazing.
Amazing, I said, acting like I'd never seen it happen before.
Yeah,
Nami said, gasping for breath. Nami? She looked at me in agony. Something strange.
Huh? Shorty, something strange.
Was it the lightning just now? To be honest, I felt the same way, an unease in the pit of my stomach while the tree didn't crush the car. What was going on here? Nami.
Shorty.
We were breathing in unison. Nobody else was there on that mountain, just the two of us, shut away in a little car. Nami.
Oh, I can't take it anymore.
I was so close, but then Nami flew out of the car. Nami. I got out of the car and found Nami standing in the wind.
The wind feels nice.
It didn't feel all that nice to me, though. And then, A, I almost choked on the sappy adult scent that was drifting through the air. B, I realized that there was an old man blowing the wind at us with a huge fan. C, I realized that there were many people working behind the scenes here. I'm going to say A, sappy adult scent.
Hypericums.
There was a whole field of them. The small yellow flowers moved like the breath of a woman.
Nami closed her eyes, spellbound. My sister.
Huh? This is going to end with us having a threesome with Naomi and Nami.
Oh my.
Nami seemed shocked at what she'd just said.
What did I say just now?
You said my sister.
That's weird. Why did I say that? I never intended to say it.
She didn't seem to be joking.
I don't even have a sister, after all. So why would I say that?
I felt like something bad was about to happen, and I started to panic. That abandoned mansion was just ahead, and I wanted to bring her there as quickly as possible. The rain was getting worse. Hey, I get the feeling there's a big building up ahead just beyond the forest. Let's go there. Every so often, Nami can predict the future. I think that's her saying it. Nami must have foreseen that I was planning to take her to that mansion, and she said she wanted to go, right? Hehehe. Maybe Nami and I are looking forward to the same thing. So I said, A, tonight, the flowers of Adam and Eve will bloom. B, let's get going then. Fields, mountains, I'm up for anything. See, be careful. Wolves prowl the paths at night, so we're going to keep picking the romantic sounding options. Nami clung to me. Whoa, look. It seemed to appear out of the blue. Mansion? Is it pink? Yeah. I really hoped it would be pink. That'd be so funny. It just looks like a love hotel. Wow, what a big mansion. Wow, what a big mansion. I exaggerated my reaction, acting like I was actually shocked. It's lovely, Nami gasped, as if it had enchanted her. An uninhibited mansion. Nobody would ever criticize two lovers who had lost their way and happened to wander in and stay the night here. I found it last year, a little hideaway just for the two of us. Tonight, I was going to stay here with Nami. We're soaking wet. Let's go. Wait. Nami pulled me back. She eyed the mansion warily. I feel like bad things are going to happen to us in there. We shouldn't go inside. Really? Things weren't looking good. I was going to have to put my abilities to the test. Nami. Nami's wet shirt clung to her, revealing her amazing chest. Nami! The lightning was starting to be a problem for me. I hate lightning! Nami ran toward the mansion. I chased after her and shouted. Hey, it's the voice of God, Nami. It's saying, run, arrows. B, don't let the god of thunder snag your belly button, Nami. C, Nami, out with the ogres and in with the luck. I'll say, arrows, because I'm pretty sure that's romance or lust related. We entered the gate. There were nothing but Hyperiosyms around us as far as I could see. Oh, something was running through the Hyperiosyms. Is it a naked woman? What was that just now? Nami was frightened. I'll go take a look. I flew right over to it. I have to show off every once in a while. Hold it right there! I caught up with it and, much to my surprise, I was able to grab hold of it. What was it? What was it? Nami said as she came over. That thing we saw running by was this. It was a small placard-type sign. Welcome all couples. We've got TV, a bath, and fluffy beds. Welcome to the Otogirisou Hotel. That's what was written on the sign. Is this your idea of a joke? Nami tapped the sign. It wasn't me. I happened to get a whiff of sweet fragrance in the air. When I turned around, I saw Nami standing there naked. Whoa, Nami? I was caught off guard. Here? Now? Oh, I think this still has, here? Now? Shorty, who are you talking to? What? Nami was behind me, fully clothed, naturally. She was looking as dignified and intelligent as ever. I hiccuped, unexpectedly. The naked Nami had vanished. Nami, just now. Just now? What? Nami hadn't seen it, apparently. I wasn't even sure what that was all about just now. Oh, maybe I'd fallen so far in love with her that I was starting to see her naked no matter where I looked. Shorty, I hiccuped. You're drooling. I wiped away my drool and then... A, after thinking it over, I decided to go with Nami as my term of endearment for Nami. B, I thought that Naomi must be tired of how many times she'd had to appear in scenes like this. C, I thought if she was going to change her clothes, she should do it in the dressing room. We'll go with Nami. After thinking it over, I decided to go with Nami as my term of endearment for Nami, and then we headed to the mansion's entrance hall. After coming this far, Nami had become more assertive. Maybe we can use the shower here. She's saying that already. Oh man, I don't mind a lightning bolt or two. If the god of lightning comes for my belly button, I'll hand it over myself. Or maybe not. We stood in front of the imposing door at the entrance of the mansion. Hello, is anybody there? Hello, is anybody there? Nami called out to the people inside. She waited, but didn't receive a reply. Then I gave it a try. Hello? Is anybody there? Nami grasped my hand from behind me. I was so happy. I gripped her hand back in return. Shorty, what are you doing? Nami screamed. Ah! What I've been holding was a snake. What kind of mistake was that? Miss Snake? I vented my frustration on the knocker. Oh, knocked a book over. And a bookmark. Okay. Hello? Is anybody there? The door didn't open, so... A, all that was on my mind was Nami and that shower. B, I thought I would show off a technique I learned from a safecracker. C, I used the ace up my sleeve and cast a magic spell. Going with Nami in the shower. It won't open. What now? I know a good way. I hadn't put much thought into it, though. Oh, I guess we reversed that. According to Socrates, a house is like a woman. Offering praise will make her happy, and offering a kiss will make her open up to you. No way. I mean, it is nice, though. Nami softly closed her eyes and her mouth moved closer to mine. Whoa. I was just making a joke. I only intended to kiss the door for a laugh, but she's going to let me kiss her. Nami. Well, hey, if she's given me this chance, I'm not gonna let it slip away. Oh, Nami. I closed my eyes and put my arms around her shoulders. And then suddenly the door opened on its own. Now the door is trying to get in the way. What a cruel thing for a door to do. Nami pushed me aside.
Who is it? Who's there?
I could hear it too. When the door opened, I could clearly hear the sound of a woman breathing hard somewhere. What should we do?
What should we do?
Let's go in for the time being. I headed inside timidly.
Wow, this place is gorgeous.
We both gasped at the sight of it. It's like we've gone to a foreign country. Then I said, A, we're going to have one hot, sweet night here. B, this must be where Agatha Christie gets her work done. C, this must be a secret hideaway of Marilyn Monroe. Let's go with A. We're going to have one hot, sweet night here. It was like something out of a world you'd see in a Western film. There was a set of Western-style armor along with a large clock, a chandelier, and stairs on both sides of the room. They've even got a huge aquarium at the front there.
Yeah, anyway, we should go further in.
It's spacious, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite spacious.
And quiet.
Mm-hmm. It's quiet.
Do you think nobody else is here?
Yeah, maybe nobody else is here.
Human psychology is a strange thing. Being in a spacious place without anybody else around feels exciting on an instinctual level, apparently. Nami seemed to be breathing faster here, too. I turned to face her. Nami.
Shorty.
Nami quietly closed her eyes. Nami. A, I closed my eyes, too, and moved my mouth closer to hers. B, I felt unbearably nervous. C, I drew some eyeballs on Nami's closed eyelids. I closed my eyes, too, and moved my mouth closer to hers. Nami. I could suddenly smell a woman, a different woman from Nami. Startled, I looked around, and I saw a woman disappear into the shadows. Whoa.
What?
Nami opened her eyes back up. It's nothing. I lied. The woman was naked. I couldn't tell Nami that, though. Suddenly, there was a loud noise.
Ugh!
Nami stiffened up. What? I held her in my arms without missing a beat. Even when she was paralyzed like this, Nami's body felt nice to hold.
You don't have to hold on to me like that.
Oh. Understood. I decided I'd overlook the fact that she was trembling.
That sound was coming from the second floor.
What should we do?
What do you mean, what should we do? We entered this place without permission. If somebody's here, we need to go and let them know we're here.
Nami would make a fine bride one day. Let's go. Nami seemed glad that somebody else was here, but I knew for sure that nobody actually lived here, so I was actually pretty scared.
Shorty, what's wrong?
Oh, I was just caught off guard by how pretty you are, Nami.
Thanks. Everybody tells me that.
She held out the sides of her skirt, like a princess. It made me feel better, seeing how relaxed she was.
I'm fine with going to see them on my own. What'll you do, Shorty?
A, I will accompany you, of course, Senorita Nami. I gazed at her as if I was Don Juan. B, don't be ridiculous. You can't leave me alone. I pulled at the side of her skirt because I was afraid. C, I'll wish you luck on your mission. I sent Nami off. I'm going to go with A. I will accompany you, of course, Senorita Nami. I gazed at her as if I was Don Juan. I went up the stairs after Nami. My eyes were drawn to her hips. Yeah, tonight was going to be the night. It was going to be our first night together. I loved her. Yeah, I loved Nami.
Oh.
Nami stopped in her tracks. There were panties on the floor.
What's this now?
Ah. Nami snatched the panties away from me. Huh? What gives?
They're mine.
How's that possible?
I don't know. I don't know either.
Nami started to cry.
I was wearing them, though. And I've been with you the whole time, too, Shorty. So where could they have come off?
You should check, Nami. Are these really yours?
Hold on a second.
Nami reached behind and put her hands on her butt.
Okay.
Huh?
I'm actually wearing mine right now. Sorry.
All that fuss over nothing. But still, if those aren't your panties in your hands, Nami, whose are they? She threw them down, and I picked them back up to have a look at them. The panties were trimmed with lace and marked with strawberries. Yay, strawberries! So yours look exactly like this?
Yeah. But nobody else would know that, right?
Well... I fiddled around with the strawberry panties.
Yuck, Shorty. Hurry up and throw those panties away.
Will do. I put them in my pocket.
Oh?
That's when I realized the suit of armor in the entrance hall was missing.
Hey, wasn't there a suit of armor over there?
Ha ha ha. I laughed, but it wasn't a hearty laugh. That suit of armor must have been worn by a woman.
What makes you say that?
She went looking for the panties she dropped. There was that sound again. I thought she'd taken them out. It came from further into the second floor.
You think that's the suit of armor?
Nami said, scaring me. Let's go and find out. I tried to muster up some courage. I stood in front of Nami to ensure we'd have a dreamy night together. B, I ended getting pulled along by Nami. C, I wore the panties I'd found earlier as a helmet. I stood in front of Nami to ensure we'd have a dreamy night together. A door at the end of the hall was halfway open. That was the place. We stood in front of the room, and Nami knocked on the door.
Excuse me.
It was dark inside.
Is anybody in here?
There was no reply. Maybe they're in a different room?
This has to be the room. Look, the lights are on.
Nami took my hand and entered the room smoothly. Huh. There was a floor stand further in the room that gave off a weak light. Looks like the mummy's not in here yet. Lit by a dim light, there was a small cloth-covered table and an old diary that had been placed on it.
It's too dark in here to read that, yeah?
Nami said after taking a peek at it. We couldn't sense anyone's presence here.
Is there really nobody in here?
Nami called out once more into the darkness.
Kinda seems like we're the only ones.
She said that to me as if she was whispering it. I suddenly became overwhelmed by how much I cared for Nami. Nami, I hugged her, frozen there in the darkness. And then, A, Nami, I pressed my lips against hers. B, Nami, I suddenly started to worry about whether or not this was actually Nami. C, what should I do now? I suddenly felt like I'd lost my nerve. We're going with Nami. Nami, I pressed my lips against hers. Someone's coming. It seemed something right over there, that way. It was a wheelchair being pushed by a woman. Nami? It was Nami. Nami, what are you doing? Cut it out. I grabbed Nami's hand. A large blade swept through the air. Both of Nami's hands got lopped right off. Ah! Nami! Nami, who just lost both of her hands, looked at me in a daze. Wow, this is romantic and going weird. This time Nami's head went flying off. Oh my gosh, blood sprayed from Nami's neck as her head rolled on the floor right up into my feet. Ah! Nami! Nami! I held her head in my arms.
Shorty, what are you doing?
I could hear a confused-sounding voice behind me. Huh? Nami was there behind me. What was I holding in my arms was half of a down feather pillow.
What are you causing a scene with that pillow for, anyway?
Feathers spilled out of the pillow and fluttered to the floor.
Anyway, Shorty, enough about that. There was a wheelchair on the other side there.
Huh?
Somebody sitting on it.
Startled, I took another look. At that moment, the wheelchair turned to face me. Ah! When people see something that they don't expect to see, they feel like they're gonna die. It's too early for this fish monster to show up, you know? Nami turned on the lights. Ah! Finally, there was the mummy. It's here! I threw my arms around Nami and then flew out of the room. Hope we didn't mess up.
Wait, Shorty. Don't leave me behind.
I could hear Nami's voice coming from behind me. Surprised, I looked to see what I had in my arms. What I was holding was a black cat. I wouldn't leave you behind. Come on. I turned back, telling myself that I'd give Nami a hug this time. At that moment, I snuck a peek at what was under her skirt. B, I shouted, "Don't leave me alone," without thinking. C, I had a feeling I'd be seeing that cat one more time. We'll do the skirt one. I snuck a peek at what was under her skirt. I got a good glimpse of her strawberry fields. We're a pervert. We raced down the hallway.
Oh!
Suddenly, the lights went out.
Power's out.
Nami.
I'm here.
We found each other's hands in the darkness.
Watch out for the stairs. Yeah.
What's that?
Huh?
Shh.
What could that be?
The suit of armor. Nami jumped to that
The suit of armor.
Nami jumped to that conclusion so quickly. Hey, we still don't know that for sure.
Oh, right.
We could still hear the suit of armor's footsteps. Let's try that again. We stood at our positions. Ah! We held our breath. Then we couldn't hear anything anymore.
Let's head down.
Yeah. The wind came blowing in.
Wind? Where's it coming from?
Nami's hair was blowing in the wind there in the darkness, brushing up against my cheek. Nami.
Huh?
It was strange. The hair brushed me from the opposite side that Nami and the wind were on.
Oh, yeah, I can hear it.
I could hear a woman suddenly laughing close to my ear. Whoa! It caused me to miss a step, making us tumble down the stairs.
Ow!
I got thrown into the darkness and I couldn't see anything. Nami, hey, where are you? I called out to Nami, trying to find her. I reflected on 3 things you shouldn't do for proper manners in the dark. A, don't get confused, don't raise a fuss, don't lose your cool. B, don't panic, don't shout, don't run. C, don't hit, don't touch, don't kiss. I don't know. I'll say don't lose our cool. Don't get confused, don't raise a fuss, don't lose your cool.
Let's go looking for the breaker.
It was pitch black and I couldn't see anything at all. Holding hands, we headed along. Hold on, there's a switch here. Nami flipped the switch she'd found. The lights in the room came on. "Shorty, what's that?" Nami suddenly shouted. "Huh? What's what?" "Right there. You've got a kiss mark on you." There was a lipstick kiss on my cheek. Flustered, I wiped it off with my shirt. "Hey, what's the meaning of this? Maybe it was the cat?" My explanation sounded ridiculous even to me. "I'm going to find out what really happened," Nami said in a huff. "Hey, just drop it, Nami." "I'm not going to just drop it. Somebody just plants a kiss on my boyfriend in the dark. I'm not just going to sit back and accept it. I'm going to object to that, of course." Nami looked furious at that old mummy. Wait, Nami. I'm going with you." I chased Nami as she headed to the stairs. To be honest, A, I was scared that the one who left the lipstick on me was the mummy. B, I was scared that another mummy might pop up too. Or C, I was more scared of a jealous Nami than any mummy. D, I was scared that the mummy might have fallen for me. Big D? I hope we haven't veered off. I don't know if we can. I was scared that the mummy might have fallen for me. We went back to the mummy's room that we were in earlier. "Ah!" Nami screamed in terror. "Don't be stupid. You screamed too early."
Oh, did I?
I turned the lights on. The mummy must not be in here. There was an old bed and the interior was fit for Victorian royalty. Scared the mummy might have fallen for me. We went back to the mummy's room that we were in earlier. "Ah!" I screamed in terror. "Don't be stupid, you screamed too early." We already did this part. I tried to reload because the walkthrough is translated from Japanese, the things don't match up, so I'm still not sure. I hope all of this just leads to the same ending. Turn the lights on. The mummy must not be in here. Old bed and the interior was fit for Victorian royalty. There's a wheelchair. A wheelchair. Ah! It's still not time to scream yet.
Okay.
The mummy had vanished. I tried touching the wheelchair. The seat's still warm. They must have been here until just now. A look of fear washed over Nami's face.
But Shorty, it's a mummy. Why would it be warm?
What could this mean? Was the mummy alive? This has to be some kind of prank. I decided that much was clear.
"Let's get out of here," Nami said. "I can sense the presence of a wretched spirit in this room."
What did you say just now? The wind blew into the room. It was a wretched sort of wind. We naturally hugged each other. This was some sort of mystical energy. We had fallen under some sort of spell.
"Shorty."
Nami, this wasn't right. If we did it right here, we'd get dragged down to hell for sure. Yet still, we embraced, our arms wrapped around each other.
"Oh, Shorty."
"Nami." I realized that Nami and I had our hands wrapped tightly around each other's throat. "Nami?
"Shorty? Help me."
I pushed Nami away. "Let's get out of here, Nami. This way." I thought if we were going to get physical with each other, we should have done it in a more appropriate room. B, I decided to go back to the entrance hall. C, I thought the second floor was a dangerous place to be. We'll say A. I thought if we were going to get physical with each other, we should have done it in a more appropriate room. I returned to the entrance hall with Nami. A sudden gust of wind came through.
Ah!
We got blown away instantly. We were outside of the door at the entrance. Standing there outside, I had no idea what had just happened to us. A mysterious rainstorm howled in the night sky. We looked at each other. We could run away now, but for some reason, I didn't want to.
"Shorty."
She entwined her fingers with mine. "Nami." I gripped her hand back.
"So what now?"
Nami asked me. "We'll go back inside and stay there until morning." That was my reply. We went back into the mansion. And I feel like we still have a while to go yet, so we're going to end this part here. Let me know what you're thinking of this so far. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you next time. Bye.